Hi, welcome to Digital Marketing Kingdom's video series. In this video, I'd like to explain content research, 8 steps to create great content with solid research. The truffle pig and humans have a lot in common. Especially when it comes to the noble tuberous mushrooms, truffles are the most expensive mushrooms in the world. Because they are rare and tasty. They only grow underground on the roots of certain trees. A truffle pig can still smell the scent of truffles even when the mushroom is half a meter below the surface of the earth. Just like a truffle pig, you should also dig very deep below the surface in your content research to create top-notch content. Why? We'll get to that in a moment. Let's first take a look at what you should actually pay attention to during content research. What is content research? As the name suggests, content research is about researching content. So you consume a lot of content and gather the following things along the way: ideas, theories, stories, metaphors, examples, statistics, quotes, sources. You search like a truffle pig deep under the surface for everything you could possibly use for your content. Everything that can be useful. Why is content research so essential? Because you can't create great content without it. I consume a lot of content, and that's the biggest mistake I keep running into. The content is just too thin. It's not in-depth. It's not well researched. It just doesn't have a good foundation. You can tell when you're just churning out content. It's only through deep and extensive research that you find the great ideas that you can incorporate into your content and make it great. That's also another big advantage. You no longer have writer's block. I've honestly never had writer's block. I always research so much and have more ideas than I can fit in. That's a luxury problem you have to create for yourself. Winking face. I also believe that creativity is basically just research. Creativity is just connecting dots. And if you don't do research, how are you going to connect the dots that aren't there? But by that, I don't mean you should steal from others. You should be inspired. And then put your own twist on it. For this post, for example, I found the following quote from David Ogilvy: "Even a blind pig can sometimes find truffles, but it helps to know that they grow in oak forests." That's how I got the idea of the truffle pig. Plus, when you research, you can check the accuracy of what you're saying if you're not 100% sure. You also get a super feel for topics and know what's important and where there are gaps. On top of that, you learn a lot about your topic and build up more and more expertise. Good content research simply lays a solid foundation for your content. Period. Convinced? Good. Now let's take a look at the exact steps. Step 1. Choose your focus keyword. You always start with a content idea. So you have a topic you want to write or talk about. Since Google is the first place to go when it comes to research, you should do some keyword research first. So think about how your topic could be summarized in a keyword. Check afterwards or during the research if there are search queries for it. That is, whether people are searching for it. Use Google Keyword Planner, KW Finder, Ubersuggest or Chimpify. As you can see, not much is searched for it. In general, everything makes sense from 100 search queries. Some also say only from 1,000 or 10,000, but that always depends on your industry. I chose it anyway because it's an important topic. I always write for people, and only then for the search engine. Winking face. I just think that too little solid research is done in content marketing. So the post just has to go out. Step 2. Think about variations of your keyword. It's amazing how exact match keywords still affect rankings these days. You can read Improve Google SEO, 8 Tips for Better Search Engine Ranking. So in this step, brainstorm the different variations of your keyword to find even more content. I came up with the following keywords: content research, content marketing research, how to do content research, how to do content marketing research, content marketing research. That was the easy part. Now comes the hard work. Step 3. Scan 100 search results per keyword and filter out the garbage. I always start my search globally. That's why I always set the region to United States in the settings. Why? Because I want to get a global view. There are just more smart minds globally, and they come up with a lot of smart ideas. So type in a keyword. Scan the headings and domain, which is a good indication of quality of the search results. Open the pages in a new tab that you find appropriate and interesting. And you really do that with your focus keyword for the whole 100 search results. So for 10 search results pages. If you're blatant, you do that for all of your keyword variations. I find on page 10 of Google, where all the bodies are hidden, sometimes really nice diamonds. These are things that don't have anything directly to do with your topic, but are always kind of interesting. Meanwhile, though, you're finding a lot of garbage. There is more and more content, yes. But 80% of it is not really cool. So scan the open pages briefly and save the ones you want to consume. I just bluntly copy the URLs into my text editor here. Just by scanning the headings and subheadings and zapping into podcast episodes and videos, you'll get a heck of a good feel for your topic. You'll learn what you need to include, what you don't, and where there are gaps. This should give you a lot of good ideas for the rough direction of your content. Step 4. Check Buzzsumo. Google is cool and deserves to be the first place to go when it comes to research. But Google is still based on links to a large extent. That's why you should check Buzzsumo, which is based on shares. You'll mostly find content there that doesn't rank well, but has still been shared diligently by people and is therefore probably very exciting. So type in your keyword and open the pages you find interesting in a new tab. If you're going to niche, then this won't work so well. I couldn't really find anything useful to my example either. But it's definitely always worth a visit. Step 5. Check other sources. Most people who do content marketing only do their research via Google, if at all. But because that's what everyone does, they all have the same ideas available to them. However, you should go the extra mile and check out other sources as well. I've already mentioned Buzzsumo. Here are some more important sources you should check out. Print books, print magazines, podcasts, YouTube, infographics, Statista, experts, etc. Print books are particularly exciting here. They often contain important and timeless knowledge. Since you're changing mediums here, you'll often find unique ideas that can't be found anywhere else. Step 6. Find the hook and come up with a rough direction. After you've scanned everything and got a rough idea, you should find the right hook. It's best to take a short break and think about it afterwards. How do you want to draw your reader, listener, or viewer into your content? You'll do that with your headline and your introduction. During your content research, I'm sure you've already had and collected some good ideas for this. For this post, I wanted to write a step-by-step guide on how to do content research. So I immediately thought of content research, 5 steps to research content. But in researching, I noticed that some see content research strategically, that is, as research to find content ideas for the editorial plan. To differentiate me from that, I decided to write content research, 5 steps to doing research to create content. So it's all about research for creation. For the introduction, I came up with the following ideas. In the last few posts, we looked at content strategy and content plan. Now we'll take care of what comes next, content research. What do you think of when you think of content research? Just keyword research? Wrong. Kind of tie content research and truffle hogs together. Do something with the David Ogilvy quote. Something about a spy who also knows more than everyone else. I thought through several and then settled on the truffle pig metaphor. It's just so beautifully pictorial, gets to the point perfectly, and stays in your mind. Also, at this point, look a little further and think about what rough direction you want to go in. My direction was very clear, after all. In this case, I've outlined the steps. What could your content look like? Step 7. Consume the content. Now grab a cup of coffee or tea and consume all the content you've collected. Take your time. Give yourself enough time. Quietly 50% of your time you have scheduled for content creation. 4 hours of content research is nothing special. With very broad or complex topics, it can happen that I do almost nothing else for 3 days except research. Reading 50 posts just takes time. As you read the texts, listen to the podcast episodes, and watch the videos, you'll get lots of good ideas. It's best to write them all down. I usually just copy words from the text here or sometimes whole sentences into my text editor. Also, always keep your buyer persona in mind. What would she like? What does she need to know? What doesn't? Always think of the truffle pig, dig deep, to the core. Therefore, also consume the sources of your sources. Get to the bottom of it. Step 8. Take a big break. In the last step, you should do nothing at all. Relax. Watch TV, go for a walk or sunbathe on the balcony. Do something else. And, most importantly, feel good about it. I know this feels strange. But even if it doesn't look like work and it doesn't feel like work, it is work. I also have to remind myself of that every now and then when I'm lying on the couch watching Netflix. On this post, I think I binge-watched all the episodes of How to Sell Drugs Online fast. Beaming face with smiling eyes. You just have to let your subconscious take over. You need to give your brain enough time to process and structure all the information it's soaking up. This will make the actual content creation much easier. You just have to learn to trust your subconscious. Conclusion. Truffles are rare. So are great ideas. Just like truffles are buried somewhere deep underground, so are ideas hidden somewhere deep in content. That's why you have to search for them like a truffle pig. Yes, it's hard work. But it's work that needs to be done. It's precisely because it's so hard that so few do it. And that's precisely why it will set you apart. Content research is about you looking at the topic from many different perspectives and getting to the bottom of it. When I do research, I always try to dive in as deep as I can. I always look for the essence. It's only when I've stripped something down to its core and put it back together that I can really understand and teach it. Research is important to create content that is closer to the truth. And the truth is all that matters.